Next, we're going to inspect the command injection. Let's go back to our no-name platform. It's under the same user, 123 all the way to 0, and I believe it's a second to last API validation attack. Okay, and I will know with certainty. Yep, base64. So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the base64 to verify that this is the right command injection. Okay. An attacker purposely sent the input to an API intending to break its functionality. In this instance, the attacker tried one attack type against your environment. Okay, it's this command injection. It's a log4j. Here it is. Okay, remote, I think RC, remote call execution or something. It is log4j, and the recommendation is to check the evidence. Okay. And if I go to the evidence, I'm going to get to see highlighted the user agent. It is the user agent that contained the log4j attack. I see that base64, which is a dead giveaway for me, that whatever follows afterwards is a base64 encoded string. So my inclination is to decode it. Now there's plenty of tools. Just going to highlight it. There you go, all the way and including the equal. There we go. Come on. I'm going to copy. And you can take this and you can decode it on the internet using tools. There's freely available. But again, with this type of information, I will probably like to go. This is not so bad because this is from an attack, an actual attack. So you can definitely go and use a tool. I don't know, base64 decode. And this should give us some tools. Here it is. Okay. And decode from base64. You can paste it in here and you can decode and you can see what it contains. Right. Now, for an attack like ours, this is not bad. This is not too bad, right? But if you have like base64 data that are proprietary data, chances are I don't want to use the internet. Okay. So what I will be using, in fact, what I have been using all along, is command line tools, local tools. There are tools, the graphical user tools you can download into your system, right? But I like command line, so oops, that's not what I wanted. Of course, let me delete it. I need to paste. There we go. And then I pipe this into the base64-d, right, to decode. Now, if you're on Windows, like if you're on a Mac, you can use this this Unix command. I'm on Linux, so I can use it as well. And you will see the corresponding decoding, right? And again, on Windows, I believe you can use Cygwin. There's other terminals that pretty much gives you an emulation to a Linux shell, like Bash and so on. Now, this is a set of commands. It's not just one. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 commands. Okay, the first one downloads. The first one is this wget downloads the a.sh file and stores it into the temporary folder. I have a copy of this file. If you try to do it right now, it doesn't exist. Right? It doesn't exist anymore because that host name is dead. I will tell you that our security professionals, when they were debugging this, they just copied this command, pasted it, downloaded this file, and then inspected it. Right? That's what he did. Now, before we do all that, I'd like to mention that, let's do it again because my shell misbehaved a little bit. There we go. So the second command is to change the permission so we render the a.sh executable. The next command, execute it. The last command, remove the file from your temporary folder so you eliminate any traces. Okay? It's clearly an attack. This is a bad actor trying to do something, try to see if they can harness our if they can exploit our servers due to log4j. Now I told you I did keep a copy of this a.sh. So let's see the contents. Cat training ns22 a.sh like this. So here it is. Okay. Oops. Holy smokes. This is the contents. So the very first thing is no hop. Okay. What the heck is no hop? I have some manual pages for you. Here it is. Here's a no hop manual page. Run a command in mute to hangouts with output to a known terminal. That's what TTY means, right? Okay, that's what it does. So in essence, what this means is, let's go back to our terminal very quickly. What this means is that I want you to execute the next command and run it in the background. That's that %, run it in the background so that it doesn't stop. Once my server completes, or I stop the server, that session is going to keep running. No hop makes sure that your your application runs even if the parent dies. There, that's a much better explanation for no hop. The next thing I see is execute bash. Execute bash. So that means that this whole script here is bash. And these cryptic numbers greater and so on, these are all file descriptors, right? File descriptors. So in order for us to understand what the heck a file descriptor is, I have to go to this page, duplicating file descriptors. And if you pay attention, you will see exactly that, right? The redirection operator. It's the very first thing, right? I go back to my terminal. It's the very first thing. This is the redirection operation. That's exactly it. Number and 193 moves the file descriptor digit to the file descriptor n, or the standard input file descriptor 0 if n is not specified. Digit is closed and so on. And again, 0, 1, and 2 is standard standard in, standard out, standard error. 0, 1, and 2. Okay? That's what they are. And then you're saying, by the way, this command right here, dev TCP, this is called a TCP socket. TCP socket. This is old school network programming, right, from the command line. So in essence, what you're saying is this. I want you to redirect the standard in, the standard out, and the standard error to the file descriptor 183. Everything that goes into 183, I want you to communicate to this socket, this host, this port. Okay? This is the port. Everything that is output, that's coming in as an output from this command, I want you to redirect it to dev null. Whether it's input, whether it's output, both standard in, standard out, standard out and standard error, I want you to push them to dev null. That means don't display anything, right? In essence, this command runs in the background and it communicates everything from your server, like your web container that uses log4j, to this host. So this bad actor, if this was a successful attack, will have access to all your logs or your log4j logs and all to pretty much identify other areas that he can pretty much harness, right? Exploit, and so on. So I will tell you right now that this is an attack that happened in a customer like everything else. But in this particular case, it was an automated attack. There was a web crawler that pretty much was trying to scan the internet and find a host that was still vulnerable to log4j. This happened about 2 years ago, right? This happened about 2 years ago. And if you remember, log4j was it was first detected 2.5 years ago, right? 2.5 years ago. Okay, I think it was like October, November 2021. Yep. 2021. Yeah. October, November 2021. So that's when we had log4j. Okay. So this was an automated attack, and again, automated attacks are not as bad as the manual attacks. That's why it's important, and let me show you that again. That's why it's important to always check the timeline, right? What's the timeline like? Is it same timestamp? That looks more like an automated. Or is it different times? It looks more manual. See that? So always pay attention to the timeline as well. Oh, pay attention to the IPs as well, right? Look, these are two different IPs accessing the same credentials. That's pretty bad, right? Again, bad actors get together and they potentially they try to hack you together, right, using the same credentials as soon as they identify the credentials. Cool. With this, we have concluded the walkthrough. And again, the main point was the breadth of knowledge and understanding we need in order to be able to uh, navigate and identify and analyze the different vulnerabilities that the no-name platform is able to detect. Again, we only need to learn them once, right? But there's a lot of them, okay? And they manifest themselves in different contexts. And that becomes a little more complex. And that's why we need help. It's a group effort, again, right? It's not just you who's going to be able, the no-name platform operator, that's going to be able to debug and remediate. And with this, we have concluded the exercise, guys. Section is done.